Welcome to Newsmakers. I'm Lisa Aligas. In 1995, legislation was signed by then Missouri Governor Mel Carnahan, charging Missouri Southern State University with creating academic programs to establish international education as a theme of its mission. A key component of that is themed semesters, and this year the university is focusing on Ireland. Today we'll look at the benefits of the themed semester program and international travel, take a video tour of an art exhibit by students who visited Ireland this past summer, and get their reactions, and we go through the series of events and lectures planned and explain how you can attend those as well as a film festival. Joining us with all the details is the director of the Institute of International Studies here at MSSU, Dr. Chad Stebbins. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure, Lisa.
A big semester is planned, lots of events, but let's look back and start a little bit with the history of the program, which we mentioned the legislation in 1995. How do you think this sets Missouri Southern State University apart from other universities?
Well, as you mentioned, this goes back to 1995 when the state of Missouri gave every university the opportunity to develop a particular specialty that they called mission enhancement. And our president at the time, Dr. Julio Leon, chose international global education as the theme of our mission. And so a plan was put into place on how best to internationalize the campus, the curriculum. Missouri Southern did receive some state funding to implement this global mission. And we have always emphasized study abroad, certainly, but with the theme semesters, we reach virtually every student. By the time a student graduates, he or she would have been exposed to 4 or 5 different cultures, depending upon how long it takes them to graduate, of course.
So how many countries have we profiled so far in the year since you started the program? And,
well,
and give us a little bit of an idea of who's been involved.
We started doing this in the fall of 1997 with the China semester. And so we've done it every fall semester since. The spring semester is used to plan the upcoming fall semester. So we've done it now 26 years, so this would be the 27th theme semester.
Wow.
The only countries we've chosen twice, done twice, China again in 2007, and we did Japan twice in 2001. And then 20 years later in 2001.
How do you make that selection? What goes into choosing the country that will be studied?
Well, originally Dr. Leon himself selected every theme semester country, and he would give me a list. He would say, these are the next 3 or the next 4.
Okay.
And we'd say, okay, and kind of get to work. And then after he left, that decision was turned over to the faculty and to my office. And so we often survey the faculty. And some faculty have a vested interest in certain countries they would like to do, that their expertise is in a certain area. And so if we get several faculty who want to emphasize the same country, we usually choose that one sooner or later. And so I don't think we're ever going to run out of countries.
There are plenty.
You know, there are over 200 that we haven't done. And but people do kind of look forward to hearing the announcement of which country is going to be next. And I will share with you that next fall will be the Canada semester.
Wow.
And this will be the second time that we've done Canada. We did it in 2009. But I think all of our students have changed since we did it last, and probably 2/3 of the faculty, if not more.
And it's hard in one semester to cover everything a nation might have to offer, and maybe there's different cities to visit. Part of it in the past has been sort of an exchange program of students going to school there and some of their students coming here. That happened last year with the Czech Republic. Is that a little harder to organize, and do you have to usually have faculty involved? How does that work?
You're right. Last fall was the Czech Republic semester, and we utilized a partnership with the University of Hradec Králové in the Czech Republic, and a number of their faculty did presentations by Zoom or Teams for us, and we also jointly offered 3 classes, team taught by Missouri Southern and Hradec Králové faculty. One was in business, one was in art, and one was in history. And then the Czech students visited Missouri Southern in October for 10 days, and then a group of 20 Missouri Southern students visited the Czech Republic in December. So there was that really kind of unique exchange. And so you have to have a very good partner university in the other country to be able to pull that off.
Why do you think it's helpful to have students travel to a foreign country, travel abroad, and especially when you have a whole theme semester, how does going there make a big difference?
Well, the theme semester focuses on events that are on campus. We bring in guest speakers, we have cultural events, we show films, we do readings, we have concerts, art exhibitions, kind of something for everyone. And it really, I think, whets a student's appetite then to actually go and visit that particular country.
Yeah.
And you get a good base of knowledge from listening to the presentations on campus, but it's not quite the same as seeing it firsthand, obviously.
What do you feel is the biggest long-range benefit of having students get an understanding of a foreign country?
Well, I think we reach virtually every student with a theme semester event or several by the time they graduate.
Yeah.
So it does permeate our entire campus. We have different departments that figure out ways they can get involved. They can develop special programs for their
Because
students.
it's not just history. There might
No,
be business
no. You know,
programs.
the English department always reads novels from the particular country. The art department does exhibitions from the country or region that we're focusing on, and same with the music department. And so it kind of just broadens a student's horizon. They're exposed to more cultures, more ideas, more concepts, and I think it's really a win-win situation.
Now, some of the students, we're going to talk about their art exhibit in a second, but travel to Ireland this summer. And what are they typically going to see when they make that journey, when those trips are planned? I mean, it's not just tourist sites. They're probably getting a deeper experience. Give me an idea of when they travel abroad, what they'll see.
So we did have 2 student groups travel to Ireland in May. The art and design department went to Ireland and Northern Ireland, and they were inspired by all the art museums that they visited, and particularly the tradition of murals in Northern Ireland. And then the honors program also went to Ireland, focusing more on Dublin, but they did make several day trips out. And so I think it's unique that our honors program has a study abroad requirement for all of their students.
Yeah.
And they can either go on a short-term faculty-led trip, which this one was, or they could go for an entire semester. So it just really adds to the breadth and depth of their education, and something that not every university provides.
All right. Well, one of the first events for the theme semester was an art exhibit. And for those students who travel, we're going to take a break. And when Chad and I return, we'll talk about that and all the other events for the Ireland semester. But first, a look at Far and Away, Reflections on Art and Conflict in Ireland. Art is personal and often springs from emotion and inspiration. For Cindy Claudio and Whitney Fair, that inspiration came from a journey to Ireland.
It really helped me because I was in a rut. I was in artist block as you call it. And so it just inspired me to do new paintings, new landscapes that I've never seen before and otherwise wouldn't have seen.
When I got back, I hit the ground running, and I was able to do 21 pieces for this show.
Whitney's works, Cindy's, and that of other students who went on the study abroad trip became part of the exhibit Far and Away, Reflections on Art and Conflict in Ireland. The Department of Art and Design took students to Ireland as part of a summer course. It explored Irish artistic expression. Of course, their trip took them to museums, but the impact was greater than for the typical tourist.
I mean, I loved going to the museums as an art major, and that's one of the things that not many people know is that Ireland has a lot of art and art history, and they really have these museums filled with so much art from famous artists that I would never have otherwise seen. Like, for example, J.M.W. Turner, Joseph Millard, William Turner, was like, I just saw his painting right there and I could not otherwise feel shocked. It's like seeing a Leonardo da Vinci in real life.
Their class and journey also studied art's role in framing, waging, and remembering the many political conflicts that define the history and culture of the island nation, something that prompted this piece by Whitney Fair.
So the piece behind me is titled Rape, and it's all about the English rape of the Irish landscape. Because when the English came in, they essentially attempted an act of erasure on the Irish language, Irish culture. to alienate the population, to make them conform to English ideals. So I wanted to depict that rape of the landscape and that gash torn in the Irish landscape of the rich greenery.
Landscape that actually became part of Andrew Cashin's pieces, even though he is not an art major.
Just things that I collected throughout the trip. And so this one I'm calling just Pieces of Ireland, and it's rocks, detritus that I found along the way. So I mean, I've got sheep's wool from a spot out in Glendalough in the Wicklow Mountains where we saw, you know, a sheepdog sort of experience, see how they work. Some rocks from Newgrange, from the Giant's Causeway, and then also like this little wooden rose that I found in Dublin. And then also more stuff from Howth. I spent a day in Howth, which is sort of outside of Dublin, and just had my own little experience and climbed up on a mountain. So I wanted to like collect that and bring it back.
Whitney's art was influenced by Ireland's struggle for self-control.
And I actually went to a crypt in Dublin where some of the revolutionaries, after they were executed, their bodies were interred. And it's still an active crypt where these families can still put family members if they want. But the rich history, they had their own civil war, they had their war of independence, or attempted.
It's conflict and tension, Professor Kyle McKenzie says, they learned about firsthand during the tour of Northern Ireland.
Very early on, we did a walking tour in Belfast where we did about an hour and a half on one side of the division wall, the peace walls as they call them, that separate the Unionist and Catholic neighborhoods in Belfast. And we did, the first half of the tour was with a political prisoner from the Republican side, and the other half was with a political prisoner from the Unionist side. And so they both gave extremely different perspectives. And I think it kind of helped kind of drive home the nature of some of the conflict and why it's so difficult to get past.
Whitney, who has an emphasis in sculpture, created chess and checkers game boards, which he says represent a metaphorical game of politics and relationships, including some grim realities of life and death.
To show that in the end, those who die, the soldiers, or even us as just regular everyday people, we're pawns in a game. We're pawns in somebody else's game, whether it's business, politics, education. We're all just pawns, cogs in machines, and we're the ones to suffer. Those with money don't suffer, those with the power don't suffer. And this piece with the Red King translates, and that one's titled, "So Share My Glory, So Share My Coffin." It means that, you know, if you latch on to someone's success and take part in it and reap the benefits, you also reap what you sow.
Despite the history of conflict, the visitors say the beauty of the country itself and its people also made an impression.
As generations pass, the sort of tenuous peace they have now can hold. But that was something that we did that early, so I think that kind of set in, I think, and set the tone. But also just, you know, the landscape, this kind of storytelling, the extremely just like welcoming, you know, everywhere you went, everyone was extremely friendly and chatty. So I think that was a fun part of it for sure.
Like, they are so nice and so hospitable and sweet, and, you know, just as rich as the green landscape is their attitude to life. It's just bright and lovely to the point I didn't want to come back.
And in the Giant's Causeway was like it felt like the beginning of the trip where I really saw Ireland, because you could see like the way of the water, the rocks, just the cliffs, everything there. It just really spoke to me at that point, and that's why I did that one. And then on here is the Newgrange tombs, which they don't even know who built the tombs. They were just ancient people that had done burials, basically, and they'd use the grass or the dirt, and it'd grow on top of everything with the rocks. So that really spoke to me.
Cindy and other students also shared their experiences through an artist talk. Students say studying abroad together as a group brought multiple benefits.
Studying abroad with MSSU really gave me the opportunity to actually go abroad. I mean, I wouldn't have had that opportunity otherwise. They really gave me the space and the comfort because, you know, traveling alone by yourself is very scary, just out on your own. But in this group, it felt like we could always come back to each other and we could always like resonate with each other and learn new things as a group, as a class. And so that's what I really enjoyed about it. Also, there's a collection of people that we were all going through the same thing as Americans, as learning about a new country, learning about the rules, learning about the social differences, and I really appreciated that. Also learning about the food was a big difference for us, a big change that I just really appreciated going on this trip for.
And for other students considering studying abroad,
just do it. It really makes you grow as a person, especially as a college student, first coming out of your parents' house or still living in your parents' house. It gives you that taste of freedom that you wouldn't normally expect, and it makes you realize, hey, I can take care of myself. I can do this. You know, you could learn how to find a direction in life, meet new people, and do everything that you want to do that you've always been afraid to do, especially when traveling abroad. So I would just say do it. Just jump on it.
Being a non-traditional student now, I can say do it while, you know, you can get the financial scholarships, travel, because you don't know what the future holds. But, you know, the world is round. The world is such a rich place. Experience it. Like, as Auntie Mame would say, life is a banquet and some people are starving. You know, live life. And, you know, Missouri Southern, for the school the size that it is, we have such a luxury of an international program. So travel, do it.
welcome back. We're here again with Dr. Chad Stebbins, Director of the Institute of International Studies. Thanks for being here. The art exhibit we just saw had many events, is the first of many events planned. So let's talk about some of those, get us started about what's coming up.
Okay, well, we do publish a theme semester brochure every fall. With Ireland, we have 40 events scheduled.
Wow, that's a lot.
Including 10 films, 30 other events. They're all free and open to the public with the exception of 2 that involve food and drink. And so we have to charge a little bit for those. But the community is invited to all of our events. And again, they're all free except those 2, and we love to see people from the community come out as well as our students and faculty.
So let's talk a little bit about one of those events that is a charge one. It's at Just a Taste in Webb City. Tell us, there's several musicians playing there. What will that be like?
So on Thursday evening, September 14th, we're bringing in an Irish trio from St. Louis, but they have Irish roots, and they'll be at Just a Taste in Webb City. They'll be performing, and Just a Taste will be offering, there's also a whiskey tasting program and a Guinness tasting event just prior to the musicians.
So you'll see like a VIP ticket version and then a regular ticket.
Yeah, and then the Irish Trio is coming back to campus the next morning, Friday morning, September 15th, for a free concert in Corley Auditorium in Webster Hall at 11 a.m. So you could hear them twice. You could, or hear them once at no charge. And then our Fresh Ideas food service is providing a Taste of Ireland on Tuesday evening, September the 5th, over in the Mays Student Dining Hall.
So what would be some of the food that we would associate with Ireland?
Well, they'll offer quite an array. Of course, bangers and mash and fish and chips, and some of the more specialized Irish delicacies. So it's $13. Desserts included and drinks, and you would pay more than that at a buffet, and this is all you can eat. And then at 7 o'clock that evening, we'll go over to Cornell Auditorium in Plaster Hall for an Irish movie, Sing Street. Dr. Michael Howarth, director of the honors program, will introduce the film, and we do show a movie every Tuesday evening with a couple of breaks when we're on fall break, and there's another one. Halloween, we're not showing one, but we're showing 5 of the films on campus in Cornell Auditorium, and then 5 at Bookhouse Cinema on Broadway Street in Joplin. So
you can get a passport for that too. I mean, you have your activities guide, but there's a film passport.
We have a little film passport, And students, when they attend a film, can get their passport stamped afterwards, and at the end of the semester, the students who have the most stamps get prizes. And usually you get a prize with 5 or 6 films. You don't necessarily have to go to all 10, but there's usually a couple who go to all 10.
Yeah. I've seen Sing Street. It's a great movie. What are some of the other movies that you'll be showing as part of the film festival?
Well, we're showing The Secret of Roan Inish, My Left Foot, Waking Ned Devine, The Quiet Girl, and we're showing Brooklyn, and that's probably a good segue into
the fact that you have a book club
yes,
in this semester as well.
I think the most exciting event of the Ireland semester is we're bringing in the author Colm Tóibín, originally from Dublin, now based in LA. He wrote this novel in 2009, Brooklyn. It's about an Irish girl who emigrates to Brooklyn in the 1950s and how her life changes. He will be coming to campus on Thursday evening, November 16th. We're very fortunate to have him come. He'll be signing books. He'll
Before and after?
Before and after both.
Yeah.
And we're showing this was made into a film a few years after the book came out. We're showing it on Tuesday evening, November 14th. So you could read the book, you could watch the film, and then you could come and meet the author and have your book signed.
Yeah. Are there other book signings as well as part of this event?
No, that
This
is
the
only one, November 16th. And
But there's a book club, like there's other books that you could take part in reading along with the English department?
yes, the English department and their Sigma Tau Delta chapter is reading, they're reading Brooklyn, and so you could join in on that, and they're reading 2 other Irish novels as well. And they'll be meeting at Bookhouse Cinema, and all the details, again, are in here. And
You bet.
The book club also welcomes people from the community to come out. You don't have to be a student. You could be a retiree, or anyone is welcome.
Does each film create a different essence of what we're learning about Ireland? I mean, is there a theme to all of them, or do you try to get films that capture different parts of what the country's all about?
Yeah, that's a good question. We usually have experts nominate and recommend films, including our own faculty. And we have a different faculty member introducing each of these 10 films, and it's usually one of their favorites. We also have a couple of retired faculty. Dr. Jim and Brenda Jackson are introducing the first film and the last film. And so most of these are contemporary films, but we are going to close caption them, even though they're in English. It's kind of a different dialect.
Very thick accents.
Very, very thick, and so we want to make sure everyone can understand the dialogue.
Now, I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but there was one that was recently nominated for Academy Awards, The Isles of Inisherin?
Yes, we're showing that one too, yes.
Yeah, so that's a very recent
Very
film.
recent. It just came out in 2022. It was nominated this spring for an Oscar.
I think it was Colin Farrell was also nominated. So that's more recent. Are there any much older films that kind of depict part of the
I
Irish
think
history?
the oldest one we show goes back to 1989. So now with other theme semesters, we have shown classics from the 50s and 60s, but we decided to make it maybe a bit more contemporary this time.
You bet. So there's only 2 events that cost. Why is it helpful? I mean, do you get responses from the community? Is it helpful to welcome them? I mean, do you feel like it's good participation in connecting our community as well to this other culture?
Oh, definitely. I think it's a service that Missouri Southern provides, and it's part of our statewide mission is offer global outreach to the community. We have a Southern Safari Travel Club that usually makes one trip a year of people from the community, retirees. Anyone's welcome. And so, our programming is available for anyone.
Yeah. There are a number of special lectures, and sometimes this has to do with the economies or business aspects. Why do you think it's important to include those?
Well, for the Ireland semester, we are using several of our own faculty who have particular expertise in Ireland. One of our biologists is presenting on the potato famine. One of our marketing professors is presenting on the Celtic tiger, how the Irish economy rose quite rapidly and then collapsed almost as suddenly. And it's great when we can use our own faculty as resources.
And I saw one listing that had to do with serial murder. So for all of our crime podcasters, or
Yeah.
that might be something interesting. Tell us about that one.
Right, Dr. Mike Holderman from the Criminal Justice Department actually teaches a course here in serial killers. And so he determined that there was a famous group of serial murderers in Ireland called the Murphys. And so he's presenting on, I think it's October 2nd at 11 o'clock. And so, that might be of interest to the community.
You bet. Lots of exciting different stuff. So how can someone go about getting their passports, and, where can they pick these up?
Well, we have these at every Ireland semester event. So if they can look at the schedule online, and you're going to post a link. And,
you bet we will.
And so you could get one at any of the events, or you could contact my office, the Institute of International Studies. We would put one in the mail for you.
And then the film passport, the same thing? Or are there other
Same
places?
thing with the film passport, and the book you could order off Amazon or Barnes & Noble, or buy one in our campus bookstore.
And is Bookhouse also having some of the passports available? If
Yes,
somebody wanted to go by Bookhouse?
they do have passports now.
So, and then the website, you have a special section.
Yeah, it's
What is that?
simply www.mssu.edu/Ireland, and then on that page there are links to the film festival, to the schedule, other Ireland resources that we have. Lots
Yeah.
of information there.
So, from your perspective, how far in advance do you start working on this? Is it a crazy time right now, or is it more the planning that's
Well, I'm
keeps you busier?
I'm trying to start planning for next fall's Canada semester, in between working on events for the Ireland semester. But we'll get our faculty committee together in January, and that's really where the bulk of the work takes place.
Starts up. When we talk about Ireland as a nation, what do you think makes it special?
I think it's special because so many Americans can claim Irish heritage, about 10%.
Wow.
If not more. So many of us have ancestors who came over from Ireland during the Great Potato Famine in search of better economic opportunity. And it's just one of those countries, along with France, that you just kind of have a good feeling about. The Emerald Isle, you'd love to go visit if you had the opportunity. We love leprechauns and shamrocks and everything Ireland.
All right. Well, there's lots to see and do. Thank you, Dr. Chad Stebbins, for telling us all about it.
It was my pleasure, Lisa.
And that wraps up this edition of Newsmakers. We hope you will take advantage of all the opportunities to experience the culture of Ireland with the free events here on campus, and as well with the film festival. If you can't stop by and get the scheduler passports, find them on the university website, www.mssu.edu/Ireland. Enjoy. I'm Lisa Allegas. Thanks for watching.